Hello YouTube. This video is going to be about the days of darkness, the rapture, and our appointed place that Jesus assigns to us. Now let me start with, in 2017, the Lord said to me that He didn't want me to renew my rental agreement. He said that He wanted me to go to an appointed place. I asked Him where this appointed place was, and He didn't answer me. So I didn't sign the lease, and I paid this extra $35 a month so that I could live month to month and just pay the $35 fee. Now this video has a lot to do with my tornado dream and my rapture dream. Now, over the years, I have tried to understand and to figure out, and I've prayed about it and everything about this tornado dream. I've made videos on it, and but I just never had a clear understanding of it. And so when God gives you an amazing dream like this dream is so awesome that it just keeps unfolding and unfolding, and it's still unfolding today. It's an amazing dream. He gave me this dream, this tornado dream, back in 2003. The last time I goaded the Lord about it, and asking Him, because I would ask Him a lot about the tornado dream, but He just wouldn't say, and He was silent on it. So all these years I was trying to figure it out, and that I did understand, though. It was just an understanding that those tornadoes were years. I knew that. And but that was about it, really. And he wouldn't answer my questions. So, but except for when I was praying, like in December of 2015, He said, this year's over. He says, and so meaning that he's not mentioning 2015 and 2016. He was saying that these tornadoes now are obsolete. So I just figured the dream was over, and there was nothing more to it. So I stopped praying about it, and I really forgot about the rapture dream. I mean, my tornado dream. I just put it behind me, and I just forgot about it. I didn't pray about it or anything. I might have prayed about it a few times, but I just didn't. I just forgot about it, really. But this is an amazing God had to come to me about 5 months ago. He came to me and said, look, this is what this tornado dream is all about. He's the one that brought the tornado dream to me this time. And this is exciting, so I'm gonna get to it. Okay, we're gonna start. I'm gonna start with my tornado dream. So I was sitting, He gave me this dream in 2003, and but in the dream I was sitting on my couch, and I noticed that it started to rain, so I went to the window and looked out. The first thing I noticed was I lived in a rural place in this dream. And I mean, even with the dirt road leading to the house, and there was no homes around me, and I looked out the window, and clear out in the distance on the horizon, I seen 10 small tornadoes, and they were all lined up in a row, and there was this huge, massive tornado directly behind the 10 tornadoes. And I called for my son, And I said, come here, come and look at this. And he looked outside and he said, we've got to get out of here. So we ran to the door, opened it, and there were 2 more tornadoes there. So my son had to dodge one and I dodged one. And then the wind was just this roar. And my hair was whipping me in my face. And all of a sudden, it fell silent. And I heard Father God's booming voice. I am going to protect you and your family. And then his hand came down, took this tornado that was heading for this house, which I knew in the dream was my house, and he directed it around the house. I didn't find it weird that I just had left my house and then this tornado was going down the street headed for another house that I knew to be mine. I didn't think that weird in the dream at all. So anyway, so after God directed the tornado around the house, my son and I started running for my car, which was now flashing back and forth. My Mirage to my Vega, Mirage to my Vega, flashing like that, back and forth. No. And then we got to the car, we fought about who was going to drive. And he handed me the keys and said, you can drive. And then he got in the back seat and I got in the front. And I thought, wow, what strange behavior. And then I drove off. No. And then it faded to dark. It faded to dark. And it was dark, completely pitch black for a few seconds. And then it came back to light. It faded back to life is what it did. And as it faded back to life, I could see my feet. I was looking down. I was in first person. I was looking down at my feet, walking in this debris. Then I looked up at the sky, and it was a really deep blue sky with big, fluffy clouds. And then I looked around, and I seen devastation everywhere. There were piles and piles of debris. Everywhere was just, it was just a disaster area. I walked and I came to this house and people were like all around and surrounding me, and they all had their mouths open like they were surprised or amazed at something, and they were all just gawking at me like this. And I as I was standing there, this ice helmet, well, it was a piece of ice that fell down by my foot, and I picked it up. It looked I looked at it and it looked like a biker's helmet, but it was only 1/3 the size of a biker's helmet. I picked it up and I thought, nobody's going to believe me. So I took the piece of ice and I put it in my freezer. I went in the house and put it in my freezer. Then the dream was over. Okay. Now, I'm going to go through this dream, and I'm now going to explain to you what it means. Because 5 months ago, and today is February 2nd, 2019. So, I'm sitting on the couch. When I'm sitting on the couch, it's 2003. 2003 is when Jesus gave me this dream. It was in July. It was July 8th, 2003. And I was sitting on the couch. That's 2003. Go to the window. 10 tornadoes. Tack on 10 years. That makes it 2013. I go to the door, open it, and dodge 2. When we left that house, though, let me say, I actually did live in a rural place at that time. In 8808, I had moved completely into my home in 8808. And it was in a rural place. When I left, it was December 2013. I left. I moved. 2013. So, that right there was accomplished in the dream and in real life. And then when we moved back to my hometown, and we moved into this fourplex, and it was a horrible place. But anyway, when we left the rural place, we dodged 2 tornadoes. That brings us to 2015. 2 tornadoes, 2 more years. Add 2 more years on to 2013, it takes us to 2015. Now, in December of 2015, when I lived in the rural place, that's when they started to, the dark side of the government started to torture me. And they're still doing it today. And it's been a very rough road, I'm telling you. But, you know, and it hasn't been easy. It totally has not been easy. But these 2 monsters moved in December of 2015. 1 month later, in January, it was January 16, 2016, I was in the hospital because of them. Because of these monsters that moved in. Because of the type of torture they, you know, hurt me with. I had to go to the hospital, and then about 5 more times that year in 2016, he brought me to death, close to death, about 5 more times. And that's when Father God said that he was going to protect me and my family. He took that tornado and guided it around, that 2016 tornado, and guided it around my house, or it would have killed me. Then we started running to the car, my car, and it was flashing back to my Mirage to a Vega, Mirage Vega. Now, remember that prayer I prayed when God said that the tornadoes were obsolete. 2016 was going to be the very last tornado, and so that I never thought about the dream very much at all after that. So when we were going to the cars and they were flashing like that, well, the Mirage car I loved very much, but the Vega I didn't like, and because it reminded me of my son's father, what he did to us in that car. Is when my son was born and was just an infant, my son's father took off in my Vega car and was gone for 2 weeks. And when he came back, he said that he was going to move to California, and he asked me if I wanted to go with them, and I said no, and he left. But see, and I sold that car right after. I didn't like the car after that, and I just never did really like that car actually, but it reminded me of his father. And in the dream it reminded me of his father. Well, in 2017 here, still, 2017, I was watching a YouTube video. And you know how they have ads and stuff that they come on before the actual video starts. Well, this ad came on and it was just a still picture. And then there was a voiceover. This still picture was picture was a picture of a car, which is very interesting in of itself. It was a car, and they were selling this car, and they just had a picture there, which I thought was kind of odd anyway. They didn't have a like a video type style ad where people are moving around, walking, and trying to sell their stuff. No, this was just a still picture, and it had a car in it, and it had this male model, showcasing this car. And then there was a voiceover telling you how you could get it, and it was a nice car, and telling you about the car. Well, they had superimposed my son's father's face onto that model. And that was and you say, who's they? Well, the people that torture me, they do this kind of stuff all the time. And it's like from sunup to sundown, they're doing stuff like this all the time. And why, I don't know. They are just trying to get to me. But I don't know why. It's weird, but they do it. But they had superimposed my son's father's face onto that model's head. But that was God's way of saying, this is 2017, this is 2017, flash, 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 in the dream. Isn't that cool? And not only that, in 2017, remember, Jesus said not to sign the lease. So that was 2017. That was how God showed me that was going to be 2017. Now in 2018, it was getting close to the point where the lease would be up again. And it was in June of 2018. The lease was due in August, so I had a month and a few weeks before that lease was going to come up again. And I received a phone call. It was June 19th, 2018. I received a phone call, and they said that my dad died. And this was miraculous too, because when my mom divorced my dad, I was only 2 years old, and he didn't want anything to do with us kids after they divorced. And I've only seen him like 3 times my whole entire life. One time though, I was probably in my 20s. I met somebody that knew my dad, and I asked this guy if he would give my dad a message to meet me at such and such a place so we could meet, and he never showed up. So I wanted the relationship, but he didn't. But anyway, nobody told me he passed. Nobody. I had no idea until these people called. But this amount, when the Lord said that He wanted me to go to an appointed place in 2017, I went and looked at homes and apartments and mobile homes. I even tried getting a loan for this one mobile home that I thought was cute, and don't you know, they wouldn't give me a loan. So I just kind of hung it up, and then but this inheritance I received was almost the exact amount that I needed. So I bought the place that very same day, June 19th, and I had to throw away all my stuff, almost all of my stuff. I got this huge dumpster and threw anything that had texture, anything that had my comforters, my rug. I bought my beautiful large rug, front room rug, my chair, my couch. Because this place had like bugs. And they had all kinds of bugs. It was just a really bad place. So we got rid of everything. And so when I moved here, that on the 19th, we just packed what we had and just moved in. The rest went into the dumpster. And we moved in that very same day. Got a U-Haul, moved everything. It was awesome. But so I slept on the floor. I slept on the floor, and I started to sleep right here by my front room door, because it's metal and it had more protection from their beams and the way they hurt you. Isn't that crazy? Because let me tell you my rapture dream. Now here we are, and okay, so in 2017, let me go back to my tornado dream real quick. So in 2017, the flashing of the car, and so that was 2017, and then in 2018, we're moving. We're driving off in my car. We're in the car, and it's flashing, and then we drive off in 2018, which we really did drive off from that place. Drove off, left in 2018, in June of 2018. So isn't that awesome? Isn't this awesome? God brought this to me because I had totally forgot about that. I totally forgot about my tornado dream and my rapture dream. And then that first day, and then I was sleeping on the floor and stuff in the front room. Also, okay, so let me tell you my rapture dream real quick. So as I'm driving off, though, in 2018, it's fading to dark. It's fading to dark as I'm driving away in 2018. Now we're in 2019, and it should be getting completely black, dark. I don't know, but let me just tell you. So it's fading to dark, right, in 2018. Now let me go to my rapture dream. My rapture dream, I'm holding on to the dock in this water, and there was a dock, and I was holding on to it, and I was holding on to it, and there were these babies falling into the water, and they were falling in the water, and I was catching them and throwing them back up onto the dock. There was about 3 of them, and they just kept falling in, and I'd grab them and throw them back up there on the dock, and then they stopped falling in finally. But I was calling for help. Somebody help me with this, and nobody. I seen my sisters up on a grassy hill, and I knew they were behind their house, and they were sitting Indian style, and they were rolling their eyes like, I'm not gonna answer her. And so I noticed, though, that this baby had floated out a little ways, and so I swam out, even though I didn't know how to swim. I swam out to rescue the baby, and we were both sucked into this big fan thing that was moving in the water. Just sucked us right into this like dam like thing, and it was dark, and I looked up, and there was all these mechanisms moving around like a clockwork, and I noticed this one chain going slowly around, and it would go out all the way, and then it would come back in, and then it would go out. Well, I tried grabbing onto this thing so it would take me out of there, and I couldn't do it. And then I thought, and I seen it coming, and I thought, oh, I have to get this. And I took everything that was in me to grab onto this chain, and it took me out. Then I started walking up this hill, and I came to this house, and I was right there at the door, and I was looking at the doorknob, and I'm like, is this my house? And I thought, yeah, this is my house. And so I opened the door, and I immediately got down in the front room on the floor and started to sleep, which I thought that was kind of odd though. But anyway, I got on the floor in the front room and started to sleep and wanted to go to sleep, when 5 ninjas started to whip me. Well, they were about 5 men, all dressed in black, and all you could see was their eyes. And they had belts, and they had whips, and they were hitting me in my face. I got up mad, and it was, all I could see was shadows in the house. I couldn't. It was dark. That's why, and so I could only see shadows. But I went to the couch, and I asked, and I had those 2 sisters that were rolling their eyes. Those 2 sisters were sitting on my couch, and I said, "Don't you guys care? Don't you care that they're hurting me? Don't you care?" And they were sitting there with their mouths clamped shut tight, and their lips were like pressed together, like they weren't going to say a word. Then all of a sudden, behind them, this window that was behind them, behind the couch, light started coming in from the edges of the curtains, from the curtain. And they turned around and looked at it, and I looked at it. And then we went to the door, and we went out, and there was an angel blowing a trumpet, but it was only 2-dimensional. I don't know what the significance of what that would mean. 2-dimensional, I don't know. But anyway, it was the rapture, and I started to go up, but I was going up a little awkward, and I knew the Lord. The Lord knew that I was thinking about my son, who is disabled, and I have been taking care of him forever. He knew I was thinking about him, and then the Lord said, "Are you sure?" And I said, I am sure. Get me out of here. And then he takes me up there. But yeah. So this is what here we are in the rapture dream now. I'm sleeping on the floor in the front room. That really happened. And me getting tortured still. That is very much happening. And let's see. Oh, and when I was walking up the hill, the place that I'm living in now, listen to this. The place I'm living in now, by like 6 months now, walked up the hill. There is a hill to this place I'm living in. It's not like a steep incline. It's just a little hill, just like the one I was walking up. So that came to pass. And going to the door and me saying, "Is this my home?" probably means that it was brand new. It was new to me, and that, it was new to me. So isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? But see, I was raptured while it was dark, And the timeline is now. Is this year, 2019. Is when I walked up the hill. No, when I left. Well, I walked up the hill. It was 2018, and now it's gonna get dark.